Hello and welcome to this Wargame Red Dragon 3v3 game. Not had one of these in a while. Today we're on this map, the only map in the game, and we've got Strike, Montirovka, and Retard90 going up against Ordinary Toaster, VicAlarik, and russevodga. So usually we would go through the deck reviews, but I couldn't get the decks to import into the game. I don't know why. It came up saying you need to have the Italy DLC. So I bought the Italy DLC. It was on sale. It was only about £2, £1.89 or something. And then I relaunched the game after downloading things, and it said, yeah, it's not a valid battle group. So Eugene himself just scammed me out of £2. Could have got basically nothing for that. Obviously, inflation being what it is, money in this country is basically worthless now. So, so we just have to figure it out, right? In terms of the way this map's usually played, I prefer being on this side, the blue side. Essentially, one player goes for golf, one player goes for India, and one player fights for Charlie Delta Alpha. But this is, nothing happens here because it's just one bridge with some rivers, and so they tend to, and nothing really tends to happen here. They tend to just come and help over here. But in terms of the way the map works, well, basically, blue just kind of runs across this river at the start and sets up in here. There's no LOS tool. I'm pressing C. It's not doing anything. There's no LOS tool in this wonderful game. And then red is just trapped on this open field, being shot at from all these trees and all this. So they have to, push over this open ground. Like this is like, look at it. It just keeps going to get up to here all the time, getting shot from here. And then they gotta push over to here, and these guys are still shooting them. And then they have to get across this bridge somehow and take this to get the zone. Um, Over here, I suppose you could say red has an advantage, right? Because there's more of it on red side, right? So the player can get to here, and then you can go from there to there, and you can get in. But like, there's no smoke on the vehicles and stuff in this game, so pushing over open ground's really difficult, especially on like this is a 3v3 map, but I mean this wouldn't be out of place for a 1v1. Obviously, you'd have to remove the naval stuff, but just playing this would be fine for a 1v1, really. So, it's tough. Anyway, in terms of the deployments and stuff, like you can't even drag box this stuff. I mean, it is what it is. So we've got Regard 90, and he's playing as Soviets, Soviet something. So he's got a fob, a CV. You got to have CVs in your opening zones. If this dies and this dies, the game just ends because you can't spawn any units in. I suppose this one has to, yeah, because if you lose this zone, you can't spawn any units in. That was the case at the start of Wano, and they changed it pretty quickly, which was nice. It was very nice of them to change it because it is a dumb system. Like, why is that like that? Anyway, so yeah, he's got Tunguska, a couple T-55 recons, some guys in transports, but we can't view what the guys are. But they're in the transports, and apparently they've got rocket launchers or ATGMs or something. Two T-64 BVs, which you'll recognise from Wano, except in this game they have lower ROF. But in Wano, everything got better because the historians managed to sink their teeth in another few centimeters. Can't wait for the next game. Here's your flying T-55. Vastilax in this game actually work. And there's your book. And then his teammate Strike is playing as Finn Pol, I believe. So it's like Finn Pol. It's called something like Baltic Front or something. I mean, it's just completely nonsensical. Why would Finland and Poland team up? I suppose they're both in NATO, but anyway, yeah. So that's a pretty strong deck, actually. Like these XA50. Oh, there's one that's like it's got an autocannon on it. Clearly, it's not that. But yeah, he's got some Polish Sokols, which you'll know from Wargame Red Dragon. And Super Puma, Recon and stuff, CV and a Hilo, right? And then on the right here, we've got Montirovka, and he's opened with a bunch of tanks, and he's presumably going to try and get across this. That never works, man. Switching to their opponents, we've got, surprise, surprise, VicAlarik here doing the same thing he does every time, which is get a couple fobs and then rush across this bridge and sit in here. Really likes doing that. Today he's playing as... so, like, Italy isn't even in this... It's not here. So why couldn't I view the decks? Whatever. Anyway, so he's playing as Blue Dragons, which is Japan and South Korea, those two nations which absolutely love each other. So he got a Mitsubishi. That's really fast, actually. Road speed 150, KM 900. So these will probably have those like Hayabusa guys in them, or Hayabusa, something like that. It's like really good South Korean shock infantry. It's like 15 guys in a squad. It's really good. I don't know which one they're in. Probably not the Japanese transport. And then a couple of these cheapo Japanese tanks. Like, they're quite cheap and they've got a grenade launcher on them, so they're really nice against infantry. And yeah, the fobs and everything, right? And we've got Ordinary Toaster, who I believe is usually in the game as well. And he's going to the same place he usually is. I believe that was... Might not actually be him, but... So he's got a fob. Does he? He does, but this isn't the fob, this is the CV. A couple of AMX-10 RCs. In this game, they're not as retarded. The range isn't as big in this game. They are cheaper. But recon in this game is like, you can see stuff a bit better, I think, in Wargame compared to Wano. So Gazelle Celtics, which you'll know from Wano, and a couple of Helos, Ass Panthers, and they've got rockets on them, which isn't in... That's not in Wano. On the left here, we've got whatever he's called, russevodga, with some Leopard 2s, Roan 3, 2 Gepards, Leopards, and presumably he's going to try doing... Well, he's actually just open with 2 fobs, so he at least understands the memo. I mean, we've seen a few of these games, and it just tends to be big river in the middle, nobody can go anywhere, bring loads of fobs, buy loads of arty, and just blow everybody up. That seems to be the way to play. So let's see how that goes. Right, so it's time to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. They also now get a Steam key for my game, which is on Steam. It's not released yet, but you get early access, which means you get to pay me to beta test the game. It's called Hearse Hero. It's like Crazy Taxi, but worse. And there's a map editor with a Steam workshop, and you can upload maps and download other people's maps. I'm really happy with the fact that I was able to accomplish that. Like, how many indie games do you know that have a map editor with Steam Workshop support? Anyway, it'll probably bomb, but you'll get it for free if you become a channel member, which you have to pay for, so it's not really free, is it? Anyway, I'll work on that sales pitch. So, Montirovka, he's actually coming across. It's quite rare to... Well, it's not rare to see them come across, it's rare to see them make it. So he's given them... We can't view the orders, but they're not slowing down, which means he's given them a just fast move, which is smart, because if you stay on the bridge, you die. Now, what you'd expect to see is, it's been 20 seconds... You'd expect to see a couple jets come out here now and just cluster bomb all this, and they should all die. Like, he needs to turn into these Milans, but yeah, you see he's made it over. Leopard 1A5s in this game, sort of like, they're almost identical to how they are in Wargame, actually. Well, no, although they've got one less machine gun. Over here, I don't know, it looks like Blue's made it across, but I'll just keep it like that. It's very, very rare to see this actually sort of working, but he's too clumped up, man. Like, 7 seconds till the... Oh no, they don't get their income on a minute basis. He's not got any recon, so we can't see these. They're just there shooting him. He's just lost a T-80U or something. Very expensive. So yeah, Blue's winning here, but it's not going well. Well, I mean, he's not killing these, because he can't bloody see them. Oh, what a disaster. He needs more recon, man. They just keep shooting him. So he loses another one to these tanks in bushes, and he's not shooting back. He finally saw that. He's made it. I don't believe it. So now he has to buy... Because, like, you have to leave the CV in the zone or it doesn't cap. This guy forgot to unload this one. There's the bomber, right? I'm surprised that blue aren't helping their team out. But yeah, you'll see that red's on a -3, blue's on a +3 because you got to buy ACV per zone. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously a far inferior game. I don't know anybody who still plays it. Well, I suppose these guys clearly do, but so yeah, you lost all the T80Us and stuff to just these Bopars and so on, and the enemy is still ticking on this zone, and he's not even got a thing on this zone. So yeah, it was a nice idea, but it's just not worked out for him at all, really. I mean, I understand that he's here, but oh, I see. It's because if it moves, it uncaps, and that didn't even kill that. Okay. Bomb's in a bigger area, though, you'll notice, compared to Warno, right? But yeah, he just moved forwards there. Scratchits, about as good. Why is it taking so long to reload? It doesn't actually have a reload time on the stat card. And there it goes. So, it was a nice idea, right? But it's just, the enemy's 100 points up. Blue's taken all this. It was a nice idea. It's nice to see something different happen for once. For whatever reason, Mr. Toaster here has unloaded his guy outside the zone, so he's not got this +2. Nothing's happening here. But yeah, red, he made it across, but he's not... Unless the zone's capped, it doesn't really matter. So he needs like a smoke mortar, smoke this, run across, and then, you know, chill out in the smoke, bring it over here maybe. So here is CV. Looks like it's coming in, but without the smoke, it's just going to go across the bridge and die to these. Or this. Or a plane. So you need the smoke. No CVs at all in here. Not sure what's going on with these. But yeah, basically, you know, the way this kind of works is that, so if your opponents are opening 5 fobs, which is like every time, basically... if only these Wargame Red Dragon players watch my videos, they'll know that these guys just do the same thing every single time, on the same map, on the same side. But what that means is that you have an advantage at the start. If your opponent has spent, you know, extra points on fobs, you should have extra units at the start. So you should be strongest at the start. So red's made it across here, right? You see, and red's made it across here, and that's where the fob kind of lets you down. But you know, with it just being this absolutely bloody awful map design, where it's just a big river in the middle, and most of the Wargame Red Dragon maps are like that, and that's because this was the first huge inverse game with amphibious. So they were like, we want to show off our amphibious, so they just put rivers everywhere. Incidentally, in Warno, there's no maps with narrow rivers. And this has been posted by one of the devs on the official Discord. I'm not making this up, nor am I leaking secrets. They've posted this on the official Discord. Look, smoke. Fired by VicAlarik. Can't do that in Warno. Crazy, I know. There's a problem with it's called level of detail. When you zoom in and zoom out, the game simplifies itself. In this game, it doesn't really, because when you zoom in, there's not actually that much detail. It does a bit. Like, look at those trees. Do you see how they changed? Try to get that. Yeah, do you see how they're changing? Ah, there you go. Yeah. You definitely saw that. You definitely look. Just turns into a different thing. That's so obviously your computer doesn't explode. So yeah, it looks like they just ended up sticking the UASs here, and this is getting cleaned out now. So that was all for nothing. It was actually a disadvantage, because if he'd just spent that on CVs, they'd be winning right now, probably. Or at least the points would be a lot closer than they are. Anyway, so when you zoom out in Warno, it does that to a much greater extent, because when you zoom in, there's a lot more detail that has to be rendered. And so when you zoom out on a narrow map, it fills in the water. And instead of fixing that problem, they just never made a map with a narrow river. So amphibious in Warno is just useless, because there's like 3 places where you can use it. right? Mount River and stuff like that. Loop is probably the most important one, but the rivers are all really wide. Loop, Chemical, those ones, yeah. The rivers are all really wide. To get around that issue, they just didn't make any narrow rivers. So you've got this, and it makes you 1/3 the speed, but they don't increase the speed. They don't fix the problem with the rivers. They just leave it as a useless feature. So that's cool. It's a shame, really. Obviously, I know these things as a game developer with a game on Steam. Oh, Avia 28. So this is it's got a very big bomb on it. That used to just be North Koreans only, but obviously they had to sell DLC, so the Finns get it as well. And that would have done a lot if he'd been there, but you know. So quite surprising to see planes be usable, but that's basically because of the so like this guy is playing as like Germ France. It's called like Eurocore or something. And you see the higher bungers hit. So these are the South Koreans. 15 men in a team, shock trained, 30 points. Basically just double the price of everything and you get how much that would cost in Wano. So it's 60 points for 15 guys, so it's still pretty good. In general, in Wargame Red Dragon, you get more units than you do in Wano. At the start of Wano, it was about the same, but Balance Man wanted there to be less units, so he just slowly inflated the price of everything. And if you called him out and he was like, no, I'm not doing that. Anyway, so yeah, you see the issue, right? You just can't really get in here. Peace Rhine, this thing's really good because it fires 2 Mavericks very quickly. But yeah, I'm surprised to see not everybody just dying. Quite rare. Oh, I see. He's not. So there was a big boat here. I don't know. Must have sank. There was a big red boat that was supposed to be purchased for here. These are damaged, so maybe I don't. Surely it'd be somewhere if it had died. Right? What is that? It? Yeah, I can see it. It's down there. So yeah, I don't know. Clearly something killed that. It's usually a plane. The way like Naval in Red Dragon is actually it's not terrible, but it is pretty bad. But it's not it's not terrible. Basically, you get the big ships and you escort them with a bunch of smaller ships like this. Okay, not like this. This is just a torpedo boat. So you buy a bunch of these to shoot torpedoes at the big ships, or you know missiles or whatever. You get a bunch of escort ships which carry Sea Whiz, so it's like pivads on a boat, and that'll intercept the incoming missiles to protect the big ship. And so yeah, you want like one big ship and a bunch of the little ships in front of it. But basically the reason people play with the naval enabled is that it opens up an extra tab in the map editor, in the deck editor where everything's free, as in like free on activation points. And you can just put planes and infantry in there, which is obviously just completely nonsensical. So most people just put extra planes in there. So there's like an F-18 that anybody on NATO can get, and it's got like 4 harpoons on it and some other stuff, and like a lot of them just have like ground attack stuff on it, or like you can get a Tomcat, right? So yeah, Finland gets really good infantry. It was one of the DLC nations. It wasn't in the original game. And so yeah, they come in a team with Poland. This is one of the better decks in the game. Commandosi in this game are actually good. So that's elite. So they're like those higher bunga guys, except they are elite instead of shock, or 5 points more, which would be 10 Wano books, right? So blue still on that +1 because of this, and that's all they need to do, really. And yeah, we got the K9 Thunders here. These are pretty cool. I mean, it looks like it's just an M109, but it's got like really good stats. I don't know if it actually is just a domestically produced vehicle. I know they do produce a lot of their own stuff because like the Poles are buying a bunch of. The Poles are like, we're gonna buy 1 million Korean tanks. Everybody's like, "Whoa, Poland's the strongest army in the world." Yeah, when they get them, if they get them, you know, I can commit to buying a Gorillion tanks. What do they do in the UK? We're gonna replace the Warrior. We're gonna replace the Warrior, bros. Warrior's gonna get replaced. Yeah, we're gonna replace the Warrior. Anyway, for whatever reason, he seems to know this is here. I don't know if this fired from next to it, or he's just guessing. But that's also. Well, I mean, no, that is a bush. I thought that was a thing. You might just be guessing. Either way, it's not doing it because it's not exactly on it, is it? It seems to be in this kind of area. It must have been the K9s fired from there. Smirching this is actually well, it's good in 1-0 as well. Actually, it's not in 1v1. It's hard to justify. But yeah, look this. What? Oh no, he's seen the helos. Take off! You gotta take off. Nah, these are dead, man. He's moved this. Oh, he's taken off. Oh, it's too late. So that was Seed. The in this game, the F4F Germans get AMRAAMs because it's based in like slightly ahead of Warno time. So this is actually 4 mortars. If you're wondering why it is firing so fast, it's actually 4 in there. It aggregates the labels, right? You can like group them together and stuff. There's some crazy exploits with that, where if there's like a missile coming towards your tanks, you can group up the tanks and then split them. And I don't think it affects the missile. I think it affects the plane's targeting. So if you right click on a group and then it splits up, it cancels the right click order and then it doesn't drop the bomb and stuff like that. I don't know the exact specifics. I've seen it done to me. Where I'm bringing a plane in against like 3 heavy tanks or whatever, and they split it and combine it. Guy was smurfing as well. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so I don't know if this is a naval thing. No, it's not. It's just PACT Finland gets F-18s. So. So yeah, then it just becomes the grind, and whoever's got 5 fobs tends to win. That's all there is to it, really. And looks like they've decided to buy AA. This is obviously a really bad idea, just buying them all at once, because you lose all your momentum on the front line, but it's not like anything's really happening, is it? So. Commandos Marine. So these are like Commandosi. Practically identical, actually. Keep having to press I. LRAC is... Whoa, LRAC in this has 19 pen? Crazy. And I believe it says times 12 because there's 2 squads there. Not because they get twice as much ammo. So yeah, Chumats, these are Milan 2s basically. But it's got more accuracy. See if we can find a Milan 2 somewhere. It's a Milan 3. Oh, here we go. This is the boat. Oh, you just bought the other one. So you see... Been missing things. Yeah. So it doesn't cap until it stops moving. And you see where it says def, that's for defending against missiles and stuff, but you want to... I mean... Like yeah, he's not brought the escorts, he's just buying more big ships, so... Probably not going to make it, right? See, this is Seawiz, you see that? Seawiz. Seawiz. That's the one you want. And look, this is the best one, because it's it's just a sewers. So you just buy a bunch of these and have the you'll see it now. Alright, so the Fibo comes in, best seed in the game. Alright, well that could have gone a bit better, but you get the idea. But the idea is obviously if that kills one of these instead of one of the massive ships, not this, a big one, like this, but bigger. There's a couple of them. One's called Sovereignty or something. Anyway, 15 points for 10 guys. So this is just line infantry. And yeah, I mean, there you go. That's no, it's not a naval one. It's not a naval one. It's a seed. In this game, seed fire their missiles a lot faster, and they also outrange AA. Seed's just way, way better in this game than it is in Wano. In Wano, it just doesn't even work properly. If you put your stuff in a tree line, like a dense forest, the seed plane can't see it. How does that matter? But it can see the seed plane just fine. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so yeah, you got some crazy action here of walk the commandos marine forwards and kill everything because French game. And yeah, it's just way easier for blue to reinforce here. Really, it's just a straight line, right? Whereas red, they got to kind of park it over here first and then bring it in. Got to get over the river. This is a French vehicle, right? Super pure. But yeah, it's cool to have you know, a bit of NATO equipment on PACT in some way, right? Biter Sherman, right? Biter Tiger. In Steel Division 2, there's a lot of that going on. You get like IS-2s in the German side and stuff like that, because they would obviously, in a real war, they would repurpose the stuff. But Wano is like historical accuracy war, where nobody improvises, because that's really historically accurate. Nobody improvises in war ever. So you see the Smirch coming in here. It is pretty useful. I mean, he could move out of the way if he wanted to. Base Leopard 2. Not allowed these in Wano. You're only allowed 2 AX. Cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't put a CV in it. Although I suppose you have to keep it stationary if you want to cap it. And they're already ahead on points, so they don't really have to. So yeah, I mean, he's got the supply, so he can sit around. It's just a truck. Surprised there's no ATGMs in it. So what is Retard 90 doing? Okay, he's brought up another bunch of tanks. You do occasionally see him run in here and then just die. You'll notice he just puts them in the building behind the front building, right? And then that's all you have to do, really. What is that? It loses the... I have to keep my mouse on that, otherwise I lose the tracking. Looks like just regular bombs. I'm not sure if he hit himself there or what. I'm not sure where they went. Rocket pods in this game are much better implemented. So if you see how he's like shaken and worried and stuff, that's why it's missing so much. You'll get him eventually with the Kokons. You'll notice in this game the healers all have like stabilizers on their ATGMs. They don't just immediately lose tracking if they wobble about. It's weird how much, like, so obviously in Wano a lot of things are better, but also a lot of things are worse, and it just shows like how much these guys just don't understand their own games. I don't know what it is. How is it that you can make something and then the next one is worse in some ways but better in others? Like, what shouldn't it? Like, how have you made it work? Have you made this specific mechanic worse than it was in the last game? Who knows? Obviously, people leave the company, right? Like the guy, I think the lead gameplay guy or whatever, FLX, he was on this game, I think. And now he's making Broken Arrow, right? Scamming people in Broken Arrow. Charging 50 quid for a video game and not fixing it for at least 2 years after it comes out. Let them cook. Do you remember that time you went to go to the shop and you bought a carton of eggs and they were still in the chicken? And they're like, yeah, bro, just wait. Just take it home and wait, bro. The chicken is gonna, they'll come out. Just let it cook. Anyway, so this is another way you can deal with boats, is just fire a smirch at them. And you see it's actually pretty effective, although that was a supply ship. But look, I mean, you got that. But yeah, basically Red Dragon, so this was before the DLC age. So they would just release, so like this just came out like 2 years after the last one, and it just had all the same nations as the last one, plus a few more nations, which are the dragons. So this is the Blue Dragon is Japan and South Korea, and the Red Dragon is China and North Korea. They're actually pretty interesting because it's quite rare in games that you get to play as those nations, basically. I mean, especially these days, like you get like so one of the Battlefield games got banned in China because they had the Chinese in it. It was Battlefield 4, they banned it in China. And so, now the new Battlefield, you just fight military company. You can't fight the Chinese because they want them to buy the game. So it's ridiculous because obviously the Chinese want to play as China, right? But they might, the censors might ban your game if you show them doing anything bad. And you can't show the Americans as the bad guys either, otherwise the Americans don't buy your game. So what do? Russians again. They'll just pirate it anyway, so you can always have the Russians as the bad guys. So here we go, we got some smoke coming in here. Some MTLBs, but look, all he does is he just sits in the building behind, right? And he just waits for them to show up. They show up and then he kills them. They have lost a lot of HP here though, right? Might go down this time. We'll see. But yeah, like, why isn't he unloading these? Are they all just going to die in their transports? Well, he is called Retard 90, so I guess... The other thing is, if the transport explodes next to you, you get panicked. So look, these guys are already panicked, and they're not even in the fight yet. And it's like Warner, where if you're on low cohesion, you just lose. So it's a really big problem. Basically, this smoke should have just been here if he was going to do this, and then he could have just unloaded into the building. But like, these guys are already panicked, so you'd expect them to lose, really. Whereas these, although, they do outnumber them. Just depends how much work, because now these have moved forward, so T64 BVs can shoot them. It just depends what Blue wants to do. Like, where's his points? Oh yeah, he bought a bunch of planes, so here they are. This is a big payload. And Siege comes out in front, right, to shoot the book. And there go all the motor strokey. Oh, he's going for the tanks. Well, I'm not sure why he did that, but there it is. But yeah, attacking in Wargame Red Dragon is so unfathomably shit. It really is the least enjoyable thing possibly ever. Okay, well that's maybe a slight exaggeration. I think attacking in a real war might be a little bit worse than attacking Wargame Red Dragon. But it's just so rubbish. All the maps are crap, right? Nice big open field, hilariously imbalanced sides, big river you gotta cross. And then you just get hit by all the planes and stuff. All the stuff that would hit you in Wano, and you don't have any panic smoke button. Which obviously isn't great. And then if you play on the Naval, your opponents all have extra planes. Anyway... Blue's still on that +1 because these CVs are all moving, so they're not capping the zones. And he's just got some guys sat in here that can't be spotted. Meanwhile, these guys just sit back there and fire the harpoons. But you'll see they're getting intercepted by the... These are very quiet boats. Interesting. But yeah, as long as these... Oh no, I see. It's neutralized because of this, isn't it? My bad. So yeah, he's using shore-based artillery to shoot it. You can get a, it's called a Sea Buster, and it just fires a bunch of harpoons. And that comes in the naval tab for free. Here you go, this is the sort of thing people do, so... That's, I knew it. They are a team, they are a stack. Look at that. Infinite intruder attack. And they get a boat. And that's just kind of how it works. You just send the next wave, get another boat. Send the next wave, get another boat. So yeah, I can understand people's problems with naval, but we found out where all his points went. But oh, what do you know? There's another 60 guys in here now, and you can't destroy the buildings, unlike in Warno. So, and you can't. There's no LOS tool. Makes it harder to attack. So yeah, just back to sitting there. Wow, incredible, absolutely incredible. In the meantime, sort of the same thing's happening over here to blue. Although, you'll notice, like, his guys aren't dying, right? I mean, this has been here for a while, unless he bought some more. I mean, these are foxes, right? Bugs. Marder. These fences must be very large. Look, Panzer Grenadiers from Warno. Except there's 10 of them. And also, in this game, the machine guns aren't all just stack clones of each other, so the MG3 is actually pretty good. You see it's CQC, so it can actually fire in the same building as an MG3, which obviously makes absolutely no sense, but... So Super Puma's coming in to eat some minstrels. I mean, the French sees French, right? That's some sort of grad, it seems, like cluster RM70. You're not allowed that in Warno because it's unrealistic, even though it wasn't. They did have a cluster round. So there go the Super Pumas. These this Gepard has stingers on it, so that's pretty cool. That's not allowed in Warno. Anyway, you know, this guy, he's managed to take this, but he just doesn't seem to... are these helos with people in them, or just... Because, yeah, he doesn't seem to be able to get on this island to actually sort it out. Like, the Smirch is helping him a lot. His opponent isn't really moving, so... Or at least he's not moving until he gets shot. Although, you know, he does have a lot of these sort of harpoon launchers, and they seem capable of firing from pretty far away. There you go, right? Artillery will eventually hit stuff. It's always funny seeing a tank go up against a boat, because the boat, they don't really damage each other. They just sit there shooting and take a billion crits. So yeah, you got some more building movement here. This means they're in the same block, which is where all the CQC stuff comes in. But yeah, the MG3 can fire in CQC. These guys apparently can't help out. The AA-52 can also fire in CQC, apparently. Okay. You do get, so you get grenade launchers, like 40mm, you know that thing, it's like a big revolver. It's got 40mm grenade launcher in it. You do actually get those on the Navy SEALs in this game, stuff like that. Really good in towns to just get a 4-stack, you know, because you can teleport and stuff. You just get a 4-stack and you just move them around constantly. It's very hard for the enemy to actually kill them, and they'll kill the enemy infantry really, really, really quick. It's obviously like super expensive. If you get caught out, you lose a lot of income, but you will actually kill the infantry pretty fast. Like, infantry does actually kill infantry in this game. In Warno, it happens very, very slowly, and usually it's just a case of fix them with infantry and then bring in something bigger to kill them, which I suppose is realistic. You know, in the sort of war on terror. The Americans fired 250,000 bullets for every dead Taliban or something, and they lost. So, you know, but you get the idea, right? The infantry doesn't really kill infantry. I believe it's similar in like Ukraine and stuff like that. It's just you know, you use the infantry to spot them, and then you just like, well, I suppose these days you use a drone to spot them, but in general, it's there isn't that much kind of infantry fighting. I mean, it does actually happen. It does happen, but it's generally there's a guy calling the RT, calling the drones, calling the, you know, direct fire support if you can. Anyway, so these are helos that have exocets on them. So that's a Chinese French helicopter. Interesting. Wasn't aware. And they've got French exocet missiles on them. Okay. Anyway, looks like they finally found this guy, RT-Dim. There's the recon helos and stuff. And this is the big one, the Congo and the Lafayette. So yeah, you get one big ship, and then you want to protect it with all the small ones. Yeah. So yeah, you got to feel bad for this Montirovka guy, right? He got in the enemy zone and it didn't matter, and then he took this and it doesn't matter because then both enemy players come. You know, it's just 3v1 over here. Great. So red back on that -1. Intruders are back. Big explosion. And there you go, blue out the zone. These are the escorts, the Bakus, I think. Yeah, but it's got missiles for defense as opposed to the Seawiz. I prefer the Seawiz because the missiles run out really quick. So yeah, you know, it's just team game moments, right? But everybody who plays this game deserves to suffer, basically. So yeah, I wouldn't feel bad for them, right? You play Wargame Red Dragon, and you just kind of like, there's clearly something wrong with you. You don't deserve to be happy, right? Anyway, nothing's really happened over here for the last, what are we on now, 37 minutes? Saw the same thing. Never managed to take this back. Finally took it, he just drops another 40 guys in there. Shoots you from here, shoots you from here, shoots you from here. Incredible, absolutely exhilarating. So these guys have reloaded. And, yeah, like the Seawiz, right? That was the Seawiz doing a lot of work there. I mean, it's still alive, right? Obviously, it's very on fire, but still alive. I don't understand why I can't hear these until I... Like, because then I zoom out, and like, see, now I can hear it. But when I was... Can't hear it. Weird. Anyway, these are in 1 as well. These are the thing KDA gets. They were actually good for a while, but somebody used them, and so Derek's nerfed them, and they never got better again. Like, they were really nice, actually. That was a really good piece of kit. Had a lot more armor as well. Like, it had a lot more armor, I think. Now there's just not really much point in them. I suppose they're only on KDA as well, so you don't really see them. So yeah, looks like Blue's going to clean this up. They're getting the CV in there now. And they've taken the other side zone. They've basically taken all 3 middle zones, right? This zone, this zone, this zone. Just trying to find something to talk about. It's like the 5th or 6th time I've cast a game on this map. And it's just the same thing happens every time. I don't know what to say. It's just literally the exact same thing every time. At some point, one of the red players is going to quit, and that'll be it. Anyway. So this, yeah, he brought this in when those Commandozi were still there. So they just immediately died. In this game, the mortars, they don't do this nonsense. The mortar space program. They actually have a very direct arc. And they actually do a lot of damage against infantry. Like, you see, that's 5 HE versus in Wano it's like 1. And the splash is worse. And the arc is worse. So, Very hard to make things work. So you see the power of these cheap Japanese tanks because of the grenade launchers. The grenade launcher really kills the infantry quite quickly. It's also got a stabilizer on it of some I mean, it just died, but it's 15% unstable, 15% stationary and 10% moving, so it's really not that. Well, I suppose it's 2/3 of the DPS, but all that for, I mean, in Wano points that'd be 120, which is crazy. I mean, imagine like that's basically like a Leopard 1, but like 5 points more for a grenade launcher. I'd take that. I mean, it's got less armor, but the gun's actually better. It's got 17 pen. You also notice like the HE on tank guns is 3 instead of 1 and stuff like that. In general, it's like basically 3 Wargame Red Dragon infantry as 1 Wano infantry in terms of how tanky they are. I mean, you see the HE, right? 3 versus 1, but like on price and stuff as well. So, okay, then we got the Yak 38s coming out. Oh wow, he actually took this. Incredible. So there are those Hawks we saw purchased before, right? And yeah, napalm. I think it actually does something in this game. See, look, it's killing them while they're in the buildings. Whoa, unknown technology. So look at this. I mean, wow, BTR 90s. We got some grenade launchers and autocannons on those. The 3 armor. It's a pretty cool vehicle. Like Reds they've actually managed it. I suppose because they got pushed out here, or I suppose they got pushed out here because all their stuff came over here, but also because this is the Montirovka guy. This is the guy who was here, and he obviously can't buy anything here now. He'll just immediately die. So, yeah, I mean he's got T80U there, and it would actually shoot the boats. I don't know if this was one of his. It's kind of hard to tell. It's got something red on it. What does that say? Looks like it's in Arabic. No, it's not. It's just like nonsensical letters. Might be some Turkic language or something. As in like Uzbek or something like that, but I'm pretty sure it was just nothing. So they managed to get in here, crazy, incredible, right? And the enemy, like, so now they got to get a CV up here, and now it'll be neutral. And so then they have to cross the bridge. So, obviously, not particularly straightforward. Tornado IDS, we know this from the warning order. Evac the wrong way and died, right? I think if it had come this way, it probably would have been okay. Although an Igla N-word is here, which actually has 5 HE instead of the 4 that you get in Wano. But it's an N, right? So I guess it's more upgraded or something. Although it has less plane range. So bringing in another CV now, right? And Red, they haven't bought one for over here, so... Oh no, here it comes. So we got a Fibo again. But this is not the seed Fibo from China. This is the plain tab Fibo, which has anti-ship missiles in it. And like those are pretty fast actually, so you see this one did get hit there. The seed, the Sea-Wiz wasn't able to save it. So I guess that's where the missile defense ones come. Although this has a missile thing as well, and it still didn't do anything. So who knows? Tornado ECR. So that's got seed on it. And the Quiz, the fighter that you'll know. Su-27S is basically the same as it is in Wano. Although it's got 8 missiles instead of 6, I think. Also flies really badly, but, you know, you get the idea. So, yeah, both middle zones neutralized. But I don't really see Red getting out of this. They're still on the -1 because of this left zone. So I'm going to speed it up a bit because, I mean, it's looking pretty over to me. So this is a really nice bomber. It's got some big bombs on it. But he moved, so, you know. And then he moved again. Wow, incredible. So nothing happened to any of these, and all of those planes died because he just pressed reverse. So that's why the ones with the guns on them are a bit better, right? And you see people actually do survive dying in the transports in this game. And this is the one I was talking about at the start with the Bushmaster on it. But yeah, I mean, Red, they've just ran out of all their supply because they didn't bring 5 fobs. They've lost on the left. Over here, I mean, it is even, right? But they just don't really have any stuff. Looks like Blue might actually try something here. But there's this T80 here you can bring over, right? Not sure what a redut is. Oh, it's so it's like the Sea Buster but worse. Got a lot of Bopars here. Bruces. So in this game, if you buy a manpad, it comes in the infantry tab, not in the... There's no AA tab, it's called like support, and it's like artillery and AA. And so you tend not to see manpads unless people pick... There's certain... So you can play as Soviets, but you can play as Soviet mechanized or whatever, and that will give you more infantry slots. So you will get more infantry slots, and then you can bring a manpad card, but the manpad card will have like 15 stingers in it or whatever. Obviously, if you're Soviets, it'll have 15 eaglet ends. So you get a lot in that card, but people just tend not to bring them because you'd rather just bring infantry and just bring AA in the support tab or whatever. Because you only get 5 cards of infantry in the default deck, I think. But each card of infantry is like 20 infantry, so... So yeah, big plane battles there, and there you go, they're surrendering. Although the time's run out anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the typical thing, right? Play on the map with the big river. Open with 5 fobs. Crazy game, crazy game. Available at all local retailers. I'll see you around.